Hi everyone, Chris here from My Old House Fix, and today we're going to do some Saturday scary attic maintenance and give you a little tour up in the attic. I know some of you guys are scared of your attics and some can be scary, so we'll give you a little tour up there. We're going to do some maintenance on 1, the air conditioning, 2, the ERV, our fresh air ventilator for the whole house, and we're also doing some water filter replacement as well. We're purposefully going up in the attic while it's raining, because it's also a good time to see if there's any leaks up there as well. I know I have a small chimney leak, and we'll see what else is leaking. So we'll give you just a real quick overview. Here is the air conditioning filter, so we'll be replacing that at least every 6 months, if not sooner. Look at your manufacturer requirements, and depending on your environment, if it's dusty. Here is the ERV filter. We only have to do the pre-filter, not the green HEPA here this time. So there's a pre-filter inside. We'll just be replacing that. Pretty quick. Wash out our pre-foam filters, pop this one in, and we're done on that. So let's go pop up in the attic. Here is our access. And please excuse the dirty room. This is my workroom in the wintertime, and winter project is still not finished. Maybe this winter I'll finish, who knows. So here's the attic access. This is a brand new attic access I've put in. I haven't trimmed it out yet. But the attic access used to be in the bathroom next door. As you can see here, it was up between the 2 ceiling joists, and it was barely large enough for me to squeeze in. And there was a shower unit here. There was a wall that came out. You've seen the pictures are before, a wall that came out, there was a shower unit here, and so all the steam and humidity went right up to the ceiling through this tiny little access that was actually caulked shut when we bought the house, but we cut that open because I wanted to get up there and look around. So we moved it from here over into this bedroom. But as you can see, most of your attic accesses are the long, big wooden ones with the fold-down steps, right? We didn't have the room for that here. So we needed a more compact stair unit with telescoping stairs, but we didn't want one that comes all the way across, gets into our cold air return, gets into the doorway, and then it can't fold down because it's actually into the doorway. So we came up with a cool fix. I don't know if you've seen these. It's a new kind of telescoping system, so you just hook a pole in. The insulated door comes down. And you have a set of steps like this. And they accordion out, which is really cool. So you just unhook them, slide them out, and there you go. So, very small footprint. They telescope out, insulated door. Good to go. Alright, so let's climb in here. Let's take our filter with us. And let's go up into the scary attic, shall we? And really it's not too scary. It used to be. It was a lot of cellulose insulation we had blown in. It was nice and beautiful and pretty, but there was nowhere to walk to do any maintenance, so we actually had a walkway built. So built this walkway across here. It goes all the way back to my ERV you can see back there. And the Unico system is over here. This actually used to be the old roof line. So where I'm standing in this bedroom was an addition put on in the 1920s. So this used to be an addition. You can see the roof line. They cut through here. So it made a nice little entryway to kind of come up the steps from the room, pop onto this landing, and walk through into the mechanical room up in the attic here. So let's pop on across the walkway. Not a lot of head height in here. It's maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet tall, if that. So it wouldn't make a good room, so we just decided to leave it for mechanicals. All right, put our filter down. So here's what we have. The rest of our Unico piping, our service platform. This is our ERV. And we actually use the chimney that we're not using anymore for one of the fresh air intakes. So this hooks over to the chimney because we're not using the upper portion because we have a combination boiler now, and so we don't have anything piped into the chimney. This is our Unico system and all the piping. There's a drip pan. This Unico system is modular, so you can just snap it together for whatever you need. If you need the cooling modules, the heating modules, the humidifier, anything you need, they just snap together. That's how you can get it up the small hole that we came up through over here. So that's really cool. And we were able to drop this all the way down from the attic all the way to the basement. We even have 2 pipes feeding the basement, all from up here on the main trunk lines. Alright, so back to the ERV. Again, if you guys haven't seen the ERV blogs or the videos we have, this provides fresh air to the whole house. So after you've tightened it up, you can recirculate. You can do a mix of fresh air, recirculate. So it can bring in fresh air totally, or you can close it off, recirculate if it's super humid out. And it also has a heat exchanger inside, so it conditions the air coming in and out. You can also use it as a exhaust fan. So this pipe runs off and is an exhaust fan for the bathroom. It goes through the heat exchanger, so instead of sucking all the air conditioning or heating out, depending on what season it is, it conditions the air inside the heat exchanger. So like in the wintertime, if it's negative 10 degrees out, it conditions that air. The outgoing air warms up the incoming cold air, and so it helps condition the air that you're bringing in, and you bring in fresh air at the same time. As a plus, okay, we took off the 2 Phillips head screws here and here, so the cover just lifts off. And the plus side to this is it has a HEPA filter. So this is one of the few models that has a HEPA filter. Some just have a regular filter. This one has a HEPA filter in it. Here is the old filter we're taking out, the pre-filter. We'll just be swapping this one out with the new one and washing these foam filters out to protect the heat exchanger. Just wash and dry these real quick. The HEPA filter only comes out once a year. They're kind of expensive. They're about 50 bucks. So this one has to be done once a year. Wipe out the case, and we're pretty much done with that. Moving on to the air conditioner. You always want to look for your filter box. So this is our filter box panel here. The door pulls off. And I've got kind of a tight fit here with all the duct work, so it takes a little bit to fish it out of here. This is a MERV 11 filter, so it's a little more efficient. And as you can see, it's ready to be changed. So it just slides out. Always pay attention to your airflow. Airflow's coming in this way. So always pay attention to your airflow and where your seals are. A little hard to do one-handed. So we pull that out. And we have the new one here, as you can see. Quite a bit of difference between the old and new. So we'll just take the new one. Again, we want to make sure the airflow is correct, so we flip it over. Always good to put a date on it. That's the maximum I would want to go, just depending on how much you run it. Here in Michigan, we may not use air conditioner a lot, so, but it just depends. It could be as little as a few months if you're in a dusty environment. If you're down south, it's really hot and you run it 24/7. So we got the airflow right, got the date on it, and we'll just push it back in. I'm gonna set the phone down real quick so I can do this. Just bear with me 1 second. Voila, just like that. It's pretty easy, guys. The hardest part is actually tracking down where your box is, if it's in your attic or in your basement. If you have a split system where you have to feed the first floor from the basement and then feed the top floor from the attic, like up here, then you may have two boxes. So just depending on what type of system you have. There we go. Super easy. So we're always good to go here. Always check your drip pan. Make sure it's not full or ready to overflow. Make sure your pipe's not clogged. This drain goes to the basement. Make sure your wet switch is working. This detects if water's about to overflow. If water hits this, keeps you from flooding your ceiling. Super awesome to have just as a backup, because you don't want to come home to plaster or drywall all on your bed. So that kind of helps out. But yeah, other than that, until you get to the winter maintenance, and we winterize this for winter, this is pretty much it. Just make sure your drip pan is good. Make sure your condensation is flowing out so you don't get any water backups or floods. Change your filter as recommended per the manufacturer. And keep everything rolling good. So I'm going to go wash these filters. I'm going to put the pre-filter back in, button this back up, and we are good to go. Alright, just showing you that an attic is not so scary as it could be. And just giving you a little tour around. And also, as I mentioned, it was raining. This is a really good time to check around. Make sure you don't have any water leaks. You know, we've had some water leaks here before. We have a small one around this chimney where we're getting ready to do some repointing outside where some water is coming in. But really just a good time to check and make sure you don't have any water leaks. Because as you can tell, in the past, over the last 130 years, there have been a few water leaks. It's always good to head them off before they get too bad. Alright guys, I'm going to get out of here. It's about 126 degrees. And we'll talk to you later. Alright, this is Chris out here from My Old House Fix. See y'all.